What is good, Ninja? OG over here from NewsEssence, and welcome to another NewsEssence video. Today, we have some awesome information for you guys, but before we get into that, I do want to say personally to everyone who came out to the live stream today, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. The support was great. So I just had to say another thank you on video. But today we do have some great news for you guys. From Sword Art Online fatally flopping potentially to Tony Hawk basically laying the smackdown when it comes to people asking for a Tony Hawk Pro Skater servers or whatever the case is there. And also Little Nightmares could be potentially coming over to the Nintendo Switch based on some of the information that everyone's favorite doctor here on YouTube had to say. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into today's news. And we're going to start off with Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. This is going to be a little bit of an impressions video and also a little bit on the business side of things in terms of how it's doing. So first and foremost, let's just talk about the good as far as the game goes. The game is absolutely amazing. If you have been watching my Let's Plays or have been watching some of the gameplay up, I really do like it. I think it plays well. The Unreal Engine 4, it just operates really good on the PC. It takes a while to boot up and there's some other issues here and there. Sometimes it crashes, but not too much. But overall, I've been having a blast with the game and I'll have my review up sometime this month or next month. I'm probably thinking it's going to be a little bit next month since we're almost already into March. But overall, I think it's a solid game. I think it's really fun. I would probably call it Japanese Borderlands. That would probably be the best way to summarize this style of game. So it's a lot of fun. However, things aren't seeming to be going so well for the game in terms of financially, just because it's very early and we still don't have any sales results, guys. So I don't want to sit here and make it seem as if this is happening. That's why I put a question mark and said fatal flop. And I kind of put it like a, well, is this actually happening? I was checking the Amazon sales charts when the game launched on the 23rd. I checked all throughout the week and I didn't see it in the top 20 at all. I'm not even sure if it was in the top 50. It might have been, but I didn't see it. I just looked at the first two tabs and it was not there. I went to go check again and I checked all the way through to like the top 50 or 60 and I still didn't see the game on any platforms. So it kind of has me worried about Sword Art Online that it fatally flopped. I mean, it's just one of those things to where I think that the game was good, but I also even checked like the reviews and like nobody's reviewed this game despite it being somewhat of a bigger game from Bandai Namco coming out from Japan. I thought the Sword Art Online franchise, in terms of fans, they're definitely out there, so I thought it would get a little bit more coverage in terms of from the press, but there was like 12 reviews on OpenCritic and it had a pretty horrible score, to be honest, of like a 66. So that's a fair according to OpenCritic. I think most gamers won't consider a 66 worth going up there and spending $60, so maybe that's what it was. It was the fact that the game essentially was priced at 60 bucks. On top of that, it's not super popular to begin with. Sword Art Online is popular, but it's not like Dragon Ball Z or Naruto or an anime like that. So I can understand why it didn't do that well, but to not have it on the Amazon sales charts at all, like anywhere near like the top 20 or 40 for the most part, was a little bit concerning for me as a big fan of the actual game, because I've been playing it and what's going to happen with this style of game. I don't want them to, you know, potentially not bring it over to another system like the Nintendo Switch, and we'll talk about that in terms of the prospects of that if it's going to come. But overall, I do think it's a great game. It just seems like it flopped. I talked to some of my retail sources I have and they pretty much have a bunch of copies. They didn't order a lot of copies, but they have a bunch of copies there. So it seems like nobody was picking it up at some of the Best Buy retail stores as well. But like I said, we have to wait and see. There's still the PSN store. There's still the Xbox Live store. We still need to see how it did on Steam. I'll probably check out Steam Spy to see how many people have it installed. Hopefully, I'm thinking at least 30, 40,000 on Steam, maybe even more. I just want the game to do well. I would like a port over to Nintendo Switch. This game is great, but there's some issues when it comes to the dialogue and just kind of going on, and there's no English dub. So I know some people didn't like that. So unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's doing so well, but we still need to wait and see. I'll check Steam Spy, I'll check some other sources that we do have, and I'll continue just looking out for it, just because I do want to port over to Nintendo Switch. And some people have already started saying, oh, well, if it didn't do good on the PS4 and Xbox One and PC, we won't get a port on the Switch, which maybe could be true. But at the same time, I still do think that Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet could have already been planned, because the game was done however many months ago or whatever when it went gold, and maybe they already started planning it last year for the Nintendo Switch and we're getting things ready. We've seen Bandai Namco already start porting over quite a number of games. The Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games are being ported over and launching in April, so they turned things around fairly quickly there, at least from when they first announced it. So they had already been working on it and didn't say anything. So that could be the same thing with Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. This game runs on Unreal Engine 4. Nintendo Switch is pretty good with Unreal Engine 4, so there is that as well. So what do you guys think about this? Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet in terms of it potentially flopping? Would you like to see the game on the Nintendo Switch? Do you think that Switch fans would be a little bit more receptive towards this game? And kind of going into that, I just think they would. To be honest, I think this is the type of game that would really fit well on the Nintendo Switch because we don't have Borderlands, because we don't have a ton of Japanese RPGs at this point. Even with the review score that it did get, I still think that it would have done fairly well on the Nintendo Switch. There have been games that have gotten worse review scores on the Nintendo Switch and still did well for the publisher. For example, like Has Been Heroes, that still did well for the publisher, although it was 20 bucks, it still did well. We've had a number of different Japanese RPGs and Japanese games do well on the Nintendo Switch, despite not being the best versions of the game or despite not reviewing as high as some would have liked or whatever it is. We've still had some good sales across the board. So I do feel that if they did port the game over to Nintendo Switch, I would buy it day one and I would definitely be talking about it because I do think that it fits the portable aspect in play, being able to play anywhere you want. You have a ton of dialogue, so being able just to relax and just go through the dialogue that way if you don't feel like skipping it, which was one of my major issues, is that like being propped up to a TV and having all that dialogue and just so much, it's absolutely insane. But it would be nice on the go. It would be nice to be able to play handheld and relax. So what do you guys think about this as far as Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet? Would you pick it up on the Nintendo Switch? Did you guys buy it on the PS4, Xbox One, or PC? What do you think about the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the next article here, Tony Hawk does not want to hear any of your Tony Hawk Pro Skater complaining because he has basically put out a message on Twitter because apparently there's a lot of people asking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater as far as a reboot or a remake or that he needs to do it, but he has had this to say to all these people asking, and this is from the official Tony Hawk Twitter account. Quote, "To anyone asking me to remaster old games or complaining about the Tony Hawk Pro Skater servers being down, Activision owns the Tony Hawk Pro Skater license, but I am no longer working with them. If I had the skills/authority to reboot servers or code games for newer systems on my own, I would be happy to ... So as I'm actually talking about this, this is getting constantly retweeted, almost 1,000 retweets, a bunch of likes. So yes, Tony Hawk does not want to hear about your Tony Hawk Pro Skater complaints because Activision owns everything, and Activision tanked the franchise. Activision basically said this franchise is no longer viable. We have heard another developer, I think that worked on Tony Hawk, saying that the suits didn't want skating games anymore. So apparently there will be no more skating games out there because at one point skating games were really popular, were like super popular, man. Like you would always get one every year. There were multiple different types of skating games. I mean, we got stuff like Tony Hawk's Underground, we got Skate. There were all sorts of cool skating games out there, but they essentially just stopped doing them after, I guess, sales slowed down quite a bit. The whole skating and cool and nollie and ollie and everybody that was into skating in terms of it being more of a mass thing kind of just dropped out of nowhere. Now there's still kids skating just like kids skated back in the day, but I guess the fever over skating has kind of died down a little bit and stuff like hoverboards have taken over. To be honest, I'm not sure what the kids are into as much today, but I know when I was growing up, skating was super cool. Everyone wanted to skate, man, and I skated for a very long time. I skated for years and years, and I had a ton of fun while I was skating, and skating games were part, man. They were part just like any other game out there. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'll still destroy anybody at the warehouse with Rodney Mullen. Seriously, I'll mess up any of you guys, but we can't play, so it doesn't really matter at all since all the servers are down. So what do you guys think about this, man? I mean, this makes me a little bit sad because I know Tony Hawk had a lot of passion for the games. They just had a lot of issues here and there. They had that one Tony Hawk's like downhill jam, which was okay. I guess that was one of them. But then also that one where you actually got on like a skateboard itself, like it came with an actual board. I think it was called Tony Hawk Ride. Like, yeah, that was horrible. And he was trying to make it seem as if that was a great game. That was kind of like the beginning of the downfall of the skating games when that thing came out. So they were trying to catch on to the peripheral type of bandwagon like Rock Band and all of that. And it just didn't work out. It just didn't work out at all. But man, I would do anything to see like another hardcore Tony Hawk game, like a Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, something like that, but kind of made for new systems. I know I bought the one on the Xbox 360 in terms of the remake, and I thought it was really good. So I'm hoping one of these days it gets rebooted or Tony Hawk works with another company in order to get a different skating game out, and people who want to make skating games and people who want to market them can continue doing so, because there's still some money to be made, in my opinion, when it comes to skating games, because I know I'd buy a new Tony Hawk game if it was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 or Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 or the ones that were really good, the base ones. I'd be totally down to get something like that. So what do you guys think about what Tony Hawk had to say, the Birdman, in addition to potentially getting a new Tony Hawk, or would you guys like a new one? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the final article here, we do have some news that Little Nightmares could be coming to Nintendo Switch based off of a LinkedIn resume. And shout outs to DocTrey81 for once again being the sleuth that he is when it comes to LinkedIn. And he originally found this, and lots of other sites and places have picked up on it. So I did want to talk about Little Nightmares just a little bit. So Engine Software seemingly is porting the game over. So Engine Software, whose previous works include the Switch port of Blossom Tales and console ports of Oceanhorn, Monster of the Uncharted Seas, is currently working on bringing Bandai Namco and Tarsier Studios' Little Nightmares to Nintendo Switch, according to a LinkedIn profile of one of the studio's programmers. Now, Little Nightmares first appeared on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC in April of 2017. The third and final piece of its post-launch expansion pass, Secrets of the Max, launched on February 23rd, so just recently. So this would be pretty cool if this game came over. I don't know much about Little Nightmares, but from what people have said, from the information that I've gathered, that it seems like it's a pretty good game here, and it was published by Bandai Namco, so they obviously saw something in this studio in order to give it a chance. And it's one of those things with these whole LinkedIn profiles and all that. Doc Trey's been right on when it comes to this information, so I'm pretty sure this is probably happening. We also got some rumblings in terms of rumors about Little Nightmares a while ago. This is not the first time we've heard about this game, so I do feel that it's probably going to happen sometime in the near future. We're going to get that Nintendo Switch port of it, and it's another quality game to add to the lineup. And shout outs to Doc Trey for checking out all this information. Make sure you guys check out his channel. But would you guys like to see Little Nightmares on the Nintendo Switch? What's your experience with the game? Because I haven't really played it at all. I don't really know too much about it. I just know that it has a dedicated base of fans, and the DLC apparently is really good as well. So let me know your thoughts on Little Nightmares, and if you've played it, what's the hook? Do you feel it's going to be a great game for the Nintendo Switch? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming page. Consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship and Twitch sponsorship as well. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.